We're going to talk about how to invest in residential assisted living, but let's go ahead and, with Isabel Guerino Smith, but let's talk about our beloved Jean Guerino. Isabel, I'm going to let Vern chime in. He's always got something beautiful to say about Jean, but I would love to hear from you too, since this is Dad. But Vern, go ahead. You go first.
Well, we always like to remember Gene. He was a great guy and a really a mentor to a lot of people. And I think, without him, I certainly wouldn't be doing what I'm doing. I met him back in 2016 when he came to Denver and was talking about this. And, after hearing what he had to say, I decided this was going to be my niche in real estate. Gene helped so many people. He founded the Residential Assisted Living Academy, the Residential Assisted Living Association. And, something we got to add here that I thought of the other day was his saying was always do good and do well. And I think that's a great saying, and we certainly miss him. So your dad was great, Isabel.
Well, thank you so much for those kind words. And I really appreciate this, you guys. So awesome. And I'm so glad that so many of you here on the phone were able to have met him through the years. And what a blessing. And I totally agree. I look at lives just like yours, Vern, where it's not just a training he was doing. It's truly changing people's lives, from the seniors and families, but all the way down to the investors and the operators. Your whole life is different because now you're doing assisted living. And that's really incredible to be able to watch and see the impact and how much that little stone, grew in the water and all those ripple effects. So that should be encouraging to all of us that, whatever your impact is, it's probably going to go far beyond what you think, and try to create those ripples to go as far as we can with whatever impact we have, and specifically for everyone here in that residential assisted living world. So thank you so much for sharing this and just honoring him. I really appreciate that, you guys. Very kind.
Thank you for being here and sharing all this with us. And Isabel, I want to say thank you for being such an incredible leader. And I'm just going to give a shout out to you because I got to attend. This is all new for me as of last year. And I got to meet you and see you in action. And for anybody who wasn't at RoundNatCon last year or hasn't been there yet, Isabel and her brother, they're just a force, and they have really taken this legacy, and just, I know he'd be so proud of you. So I'm honored to be a part of it. So thanks, Vern. Thanks, Isabel. So, all right, with that, I'm trying to get all the 27 buttons here. All right, so dollar website. I don't know if you guys have been there or not, but that is Denver Association of Assisted Living Residences. And we've got all kinds of really great links so that you can stay in tune. We're going to talk about, Isabel, when we come back to you, we're going to talk about your awesome stuff. So make sure we hit on that, but I've got a little bit of it here. So the first thing is assisted living for sale. If you haven't been there lately, please go, because we have added a couple of things. Actually, we have some things coming. I apologize. I jumped the gun. I haven't hit go on them yet, but keep an eye on that over the next month. Get funding. That is the new thing we just launched. So if you weren't here on the last meeting, we did put in a new page where you can see a video that talks about how the ABW funding lease option works for RALs. So RAL lease option, there's a video, quick video there. You can apply, get more information, all that good stuff. Also, we have a new contact tab that will give you options of letting us know what you're interested in. We are going to be revamping our communication. So newsletter is going to be changing over. You're going to see all kinds of good stuff. But please, if you haven't already, please go to that contact page on dollar.com and fill out your information. I'll give you a chance later in the meeting as well. Key links. I see this every month since last August when I joined Vern's team, and I had the joy of getting to use it recently. So I will tell you, definitely go check out Chapter 7 final, all of this, the new regulations. I'm sorry, I'm gonna mute my phone, my do not disturb. I am so sorry. Okay, there we go. FAQs, I have been to this page recently and it was immensely helpful. So if you haven't been, please do go check that out. Denver Association of Assisted Living Residences Facebook. We're up to 304 members. Just so you know, the algorithms work so that if you engage with us, if you like, share, comment, then you'll see more of the important things that we're posting. And we're going to share a lot of good stuff coming up the next year. So we're going to be adding some new things that I think you're going to want to see. So please do that and engage. Meetup. Okay, this is important. I know you're all here on the meetup, but I would love to see, I'm going to make the screen so I can see your responses. If you came here tonight by registering on the meetup.com page, please raise your virtual hand or your physical hand. Ooh, okay. So it seems like a lot of you might be coming through the email and just clicking on the register button there. If that's the case, go ahead and raise your hand or your virtual hand. Okay. So here's the beauty of Meetup. It's that social proof situation. If you go on Meetup, just get a free account and you do that, it'll remind you of the events that are coming up. Also, it lets other people know who might be interested in this that, hey, this is worth checking out. If you'd be willing to do that, that would be awesome. If not, if that's a big ask, no worries. Just keep doing it the way you're doing it. All right. We had our, this is in the wrong spot. But, oh, actually it's not. I apologize. So sponsors, we're going to talk to, gee, I wonder who's up next. Isabel? Would you like to talk about RAL National Association?
Of course. So for those of you who are not members of RALNA, which I'm pretty sure if you're a member of Denver ALR, then you are a member of RALNA because they go hand in hand. The REL National Association is a free, membership where we're giving newsletters, and Brian and the incredible team at Pinkowski Laws doing legal updates. There's a bunch of group purchasing power there and benefits to you as a care home owner or someone looking to get into this industry. So going to RALNA.com can get you free membership on that website so you can start using all those benefits. I believe they also have a Facebook group where you can connect, and I'm all about being a member of all the little groups just so you can always hear different deals and meet with, network with different people. So feel free to check that out and just click around. Just like Renee was showing with your guys' website, ours is very similar, just tons of free stuff. So the more you click, the more you'll find. And it's really cool. So I hope I'll see you over there, RALNA.com.
Thanks, Isabel. All right. So of course, Denver Association of Assisted Living Residences is a sponsor. Anderson, do we have anybody from Anderson here tonight? Okay, doesn't sound like it. Oh. Evidently, it doesn't like it when I'm trying to admit somebody and clicking the slide forward button. So I think I saw Peter come in, didn't I?
I'm here.
Woohoo!
Hey guys, Peter, assistedlivingmarketing.com. We help you with all your digital marketing needs to market your communities.
Peter, do you have any events coming up or anything on there on your website that would help assisted living with some tips or tricks or tools or anything?
I have tons of content on the blog there and all kinds of videos and everything. So yeah.
What, can I ask you, I'm going to put you on the spot for one quick second, if you don't mind.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, I didn't warn you. What's the number one thing that you believe would help most RALs increase their digital footprint?
Get more reviews on Google.
All right, you hear that,
Period.
folks.
End of story. Number one most important thing.
Okay. Thank you so much, Peter.
Yep.
Brian and Michelle Pinkowski from Pinkowski Law. Brian, you're up.
Well, hey there. Yeah. So we help assisted living owners and operators go from the purchase of their assisted living, on through the licensing and regulatory dramas that sometimes happen, on through the sale. So we do the entire life cycle with you, helping you go through the process of taking care of folks and also nurture your investment as it goes forward. And as far as I can tell, we are the only lawyers in the United States to do that. We've got offices in Arizona and in Colorado, but we help people all over the United States. And in fact, we help a few clients outside the United States as well. And we will be speaking at the Colorado Assisted Living Association conference, which is coming up sometime here soon. And also more imminently, the Residential Assisted Living National Convention in Phoenix, Arizona, that you'll hear more about today. We'll be speaking at that convention as well. So please come by and see us.
Thank you, Brian. So funny. I feel like there's such a difference. I just want to tell everybody, I was in the Air Force, I was a lifeguard, and in a former life, I was a disc jockey for a classic rock station in Grand Forks, North Dakota. And I don't notice it until I'm on a Zoom with Brian, Peter, and Vern, the difference between our radio voice, if you will. So you guys are so calm and soothing, and I'm like, all right, here we go.
All right, well, we're going to have to talk about that separately.
Okay. So next, I just want to point out, we talked about it a little bit, but RAL lease options, the page on our dollar website, that's what we call it, dollar, DAALR.com, has a get funding page, but you can also go to ralleaseoptions.com to learn more about that as well. And that is through A Better Way funding. And when I refer to ABW, in case you don't know, Vern and I are the Grand Avenue Brokers team at A Better Way Realty. And when I talk to people, I call it the mothership, and A Better Way funding is the partnership, the funding portion of A Better Way Realty. It's if you go to the ABW website, abetterwayrealty.com, you will be able to learn more about passive investing, or talk to Vern and I. We can assist you with that. All righty, so here we go. Oh, Vern, apologize. I only partially updated this. The 43 bed in Grand Junction is sold. But do you want to talk about current activity, Vern?
Yes, let's just take a quick peek here. So the 3-pack in Centennial for the business only is still available. I also, we don't have this on here, but there is an assisted living opportunity available in Lakewood where it would be business only, and really she's just looking to get the license covered. It would be a lease of the property. She's moving into a new property that we just purchased for her, but we hate to just leave that behind with the license in place. So somebody could come in and pick up this for probably in the $25,000 range for a license. It would be an empty house though, but it is an opportunity to get in quickly and have a license already. So that's not up there, but that is available, and you can reach us about that. The 10-bed in Northern Colorado is under contract. The 10-bed in South Metro, real estate only, is no longer under contract. So that's available. That's 10 bedrooms and 15 beds. We have an offer on it. We're not sure if we're going to take it yet. We got 86 beds available in Eastern Colorado. We just closed today on the 43 in Grand Junction. Yay. We have another 25 in Grand Junction that we're closing in 6 weeks. It's maybe 8 weeks at this point. I think that's most of the activity we have going on right now, and a few other things in the hopper.
Awesome. Thank you, Vern. If you would like to receive inventory as it becomes available, as you may or may not know, due to the confidentiality nature of people selling these businesses, you're not usually going to see them advertise right away because we don't want to scare off the residents or the staff. So in our marketing for a seller, we would only market to our database. If you're in our email marketing, aka newsletter, you will see these right away before they're ever marketed to the public or to realtors. So it is advantageous if you want to pick up your cell phone, turn on the camera, scan this little QR code, and just fill out that form. If you haven't already, go ahead and just opt into that list so that you can see listings as they come available before the public does.
And a lot of times I'll add that these things never get to the market because we have clients that are buyers that are looking for something. And when we find something that meets their needs, it's a done deal. So like the 25 in Grand Junction never even got to market. So with the 10 bed up in Northern Colorado, that one went to our private list. And so it never went public. So if you are interested in looking for something specifically, then you should contact us and become one of our clients to get that first opportunity.
And I'm going to go one step further and post into the chat that you are going to want to go to, if you are thinking that in the next quarter, this year, 2022, or the first quarter of 2023, that you're thinking you want to buy something or start that process, then you're going to want to go to dollar.com and check out the Get Funding page. If you fill that form out, it'll give you an option to fill out the form to have a conversation with me to get that process started. All right.
What's the website for dollar, not spelled dollar like dollar?
Because it's Denver Association of Assisted Living Residents.
So DAALR.com.
DAALR.com.
Yeah.
But if you ever hear us refer to it, we call it dollar.
I'll do the plug for CALA this evening. My name is Janet Cornell. I am on the board of directors for CALA. We have an upcoming event October 12th that is a one-day conference. We've got some really good speakers. We have a gal that wrote a book. She's a brilliant speaker. She is just so darn funny. Sense of humor about caring for people. She wrote a book. The one I read was Tears in My Gumbo. So she is just screaming funny, good sense of humor, gets it on how to take care of people, what a burden it can be. So she is really just a great speaker. That is one of our lineups. We have some interesting things going on there with some table breakout sessions. So you can go to different tables and get information on quality management plans. We have the state health department's coming. We also have the state health department coming to talk about emergency plans. So we have a pretty good lineup. Peter has been the forefront on that, setting it up. He's also on the board of directors with CALA. So he's done a great job of getting that together for us. And that's pretty inexpensive to attend, but just get on CALA's website, Colorado Assisted Living Association's website, and the information is there.
Thank you so much, Janet.
Mm-hmm.
All right. I have the distinct honor, this was my only chance because Vern would have beat me out if he wasn't loopy tonight, to introduce Isabel. And I want to make sure I don't miss a single bit of all of her wonderful accolades here. So Isabel Guerino Smith, she is a sought-after coach and trainer at the Residential Assisted Living Academy. The RAL Academy is the premier source for education in owning, operating, and investing in residential assisted living and senior housing. They have trained people from across the country on how to turn single-family homes into a cash flow machine. RAL Academy's motto is do good and do well. Isabel is Chief Operating Officer for Residential Assisted Living Academy, and she's excited to be here with us today. Please welcome Miss Isabel Guerino Smith. I'm going to go ahead and turn off my screen share so that she can turn hers on. And Isabel.
All right. I'm excited. I'm ready, you guys. Let's see. Can you see my screen?
Sure can.
Fabulous. Okay, I am so excited to be here. Finally, it's been such a long time. I've known Vern forever now, it feels like. And Renee, it's been wonderful working with you over the last year. And just, we're always sending students back and forth. We're always recommending. I love that you call it dollar because it is a bit of a mouthful, right? But I love it. It's so much fun. So today, I totally understand that everyone here in this room is all over the place. Some of you own and operate facilities already, and some of you are just getting started or just looking into this as an opportunity. So I'm going to do my best to address everyone where they're at, but because it's such a wide and vast group of people we have here, and some of you I already know and love very well because you've been to our training, you're a part of our Rolla family. So for those of you who are here, just hang out, listen in, but I'm going to do my best to kind of address everyone here in the room, in the virtual room, I should say. But thank you so much for that beautiful introduction. As you guys heard, I'm the COO of Residential Assisted Living Academy. I was named top senior housing influencer. My family owns and operates 3 residential assisted living care homes in Phoenix, so not in Colorado. And I know some of you aren't in Colorado either. So we're based here in Phoenix, Arizona. I'm the lead educator at Residential Assisted Living Academy. I was named Future Leader by Senior Housing News. And over the last 7-8 years, I built 8 companies. For those of you who don't know, you've already been introduced to quite a few of them: the Residential Assisted Living National Association, the convention, which I'll share with you all about, and the academy, which I'm here to kind of talk to you about today as well. But I really am lucky and blessed that I got to work by my father's side for so many years, and that I really got to learn and grow in my own skills. And what I really found out that I love to do is just that: build businesses. So now I'm blessed to have the opportunity to teach you how to build your own assisted living business. So why is right now the best timing for senior housing? I mean, how could it be good timing for anything? When we look around in the market, it sure doesn't feel like it's good timing for a lot of different investment opportunities, right? It kind of feels like maybe I'll pull back, maybe I'll just sit for a year and wait, right? But right now is the best timing for senior housing. You guys already know this, but the baby boomers have been driving the economy for the last 70 years. And this is your final chance to take advantage of the trends that they create. Their final wave goodbye, we could say. There's a dad joke. Right now, the silent generation is who's living in assisted living. There's only 47 million of them. The baby boomers are not in assisted living yet. We've got 20, 30 years. So timing's never been better because we see that green arrow, we see that spike after the World War. And look, there's a lot of seniors coming. And when you do the math and you see all the demographics and the statistics and the charts, you'll know that we are 1.3 million beds short right now today. And the baby boomers aren't even needing assisted living yet. This is going to be a mega crisis or a mega opportunity, depending on what side of the coin it flips on for you. The world looked very different in 1950 than it's going to look in 2060 or 2050, right? The 85 plus demographic, it is the fastest growing demographic on planet Earth today. So if you're wanting to invest in anything, and I know that you're here, you're ready to invest in assisted living, or you already are, to convince someone else what is coming, all you have to do is look at one population chart, look at anything that's out there showing us where the money's going, where the trends are going. You want something that's safe and secure. You want something that's recession proof. I think that's impossible, but recession resistant. Oh, assisted living is absolutely the way to go. But what you guys do and what we're talking about is disrupting the senior housing industry, saying no more are big box facilities the only way to go. There's other options. It's kind of like what Uber did to taxi, right? When we first heard about Uber, it was like, I have to download an app. I have to get into a stranger's car. I don't know. This seems kind of weird. And it was kind of freaky until you got into the first Uber and then you were like, oh, this is like way better than the cab, like way better. I've already agreed upon the rate I'm going to pay. My friend or family member can track me. I know I'm safe. Some Ubers these days are pretty, but for the most part, back in the day when it first started, there was that stark contrast and it was scary until you got in. And that's kind of like residential assisted living or assisted living residences, right? As soon as you step inside, you're like, oh man, this is better. I think I could see my mom living here. But the reality is there's a lot of things that are going to change this year. COVID completely rocked our world for 2 years. And I've got many friends out in Colorado, and it was crazy to see what was happening to you guys with all the lockdowns. And now you're even meeting virtually. You see some businesses are out of business and others are booming, like Zoom here that we're on. Inflation, recession, foreclosures, gas prices, politics. Are we going to be living in the metaverse? I don't know. But what I do know is what's not going to change. Seniors aging and needing care is never going away. And that's something you should be betting on, because when money gets tight, when inflation or recession hits, right, people start pulling back. They start spending less on the extravagant things. They stop going to the Airbnb and the week-long trip in Europe, or the La Jolla trip or Florida trip, whatever it may be. Instead, it comes down to necessities, right? What do we have to pay? What bills need to be paid? And your loved one, that's a bill that needs to be paid. Maslow's hierarchy of needs, right? We all know this. Care, home, assistance. These are basic needs that every human deserves, right? And needs to feel safe and secure. So again, when we're looking at things that probably are going to change over the coming years, we can drive ourselves cuckoo bananas thinking about all those things, or we can focus on what's not going to change. Our journey began with a phone call. My dad shared this story many times. And for those of you who are listening here tonight, maybe you have a personal story just like this too. My grandmother fell and broke her hip. The doctor called and said she can't go home alone. She needs 24/7 care and help with activities of daily living. What do you do in that moment? We see this with the families in our home all the time. And many of you, this may have happened to you before, a loved one, all of a sudden it's boom, they need it and they need it now. And you're only left with a couple choices. You're going to quit your job and take care of your loved one full time. You're going to give them in-home care in their own home, which can be crazy expensive. We'll go through those numbers in a moment. Or you put them into a facility or a home, right? Those are really the only options there. So we searched and searched for something for my grandmother in upstate New York, where she was living at the time, and we didn't find anything suitable that I would want to leave a goldfish, let alone my grandmother, right? I mean, these places smelled bad, they were expensive, they had waiting lists, and it was like, no way. She was a mother to 7 children, had almost 40 grandchildren, took care of her husband until he passed, took care of her mother until she passed. She deserved the best of the best. And we were determined to create that for her if we couldn't find it. So we went back to Arizona and purchased our first residential assisted living home. We purchased the real estate, purchased the business with the intent to move her in. We literally got into this industry with zero experience. So for some of you who are listening are like, I've never done this before. I don't know what to do. That's okay. We'll help show you how. And great people like Vern and Renee are there to partner with you. Groups like this are places where you dig in deep and you network, because you're going to learn in the group. You're going to learn in the trenches. The reality is you're going to get involved in senior housing one way or another. It is inevitable. If you don't hear anything else I say tonight, I just want this to hit home for a moment. Either you're going to be lying in the bed, writing the check to somebody else, or you could be owning the real estate and the business, living there for free, having your loved one live there for free, and cash flowing all the while leaving a legacy to your children or your heirs. When my dad passed in October, one of the major blessings that was given to me was 3 cash flowing residential assisted living homes. Many of you have children, and it's cool to leave someone a trust fund full of money, but what's way cooler? Leaving businesses that create an impact, leaving businesses that change people's lives. That's cool. And that's what I want to show you how to do. So today I'll be going through the 5 keys to success in residential assisted living, and hopefully we'll be able to get through these, because I want to make sure that we give us time at the end to connect again. But if you guys didn't know, there's like a lot of people getting involved in this industry, like Meg the Stallion. She just went back to Texas Southern University to learn how to open an assisted living facility. She could have come to our training for a whole lot cheaper, but maybe she didn't read my DMs that I've been sending her yet. Or Tracy Tudor from Bravo's $1 Million Listing Los Angeles. She is coming to our national convention this year. She heard about residential assisted living from her clients in the upscale Los Angeles real estate market. And she said, what's going on here? And she found us and she wants to come teach you guys about new biz, no fear, about having confidence when you start your own business. And I'm really excited for her to share about that because she's excited about the trends she's seeing. Tyler Perry launched a TV show called Assisted Living. It's like a new age Golden Girls. He's bringing it to the forefront of media. Very cool to see. And then Jimmy Buffett. He opened Margaritaville themed retirement communities. I mean, I'm not even his biggest fan, but I'll be living in paradise with Jimmy. That sounds fun. I mean, come on, who wouldn't want to be there? When we talk about the different options for single family home investing, obviously you can do a fix and flip. We all know that this is kind of on HGTV show, every other show that they have there. And we've got 18-year-olds getting into this business every single day. There's really not a lot of barriers to entry. You buy a home, you renovate it, you sell it. You make that money one time, 20 to 100K. But as soon as you sell the home, you're out of the job. And you've got to get another one and do it again, and another one and do it again. And that sure looks like a rat race to me. This isn't cash flow. This is cash now. Of course, you could do single family rentals. You know, in this game, you're making a couple $100 a month. You've got one family living in the rental home there. And, you know, short-term leases, usually like a year or maybe 2 years max. So they're not staying there that long. And you're going to need a lot of doors to get to whatever your freedom number is. If you're aiming to have a certain amount coming in every single month to cover all your bills, you're going to need quite a few doors at just a couple $100 a month. Group homes, for those of you who have a heart for people who have clean, sober recovery needs, or maybe a heart for those who have developmentally disabled, you know, challenges there. That's a beautiful opportunity to cash flow even higher at $1,000 a month or more. Airbnbs, I love to stay in them, but I really truly believe if we look around at our world, there's some big things that are pointing at the, you know, dissolution of the Airbnb industry. From things like cities completely shutting them down and saying you're not allowed to be here, like Las Vegas, to, you know, Marriott buying entire neighborhoods and turning all the homes into assisted living homes. Do you think that the solopreneur like you or I can compete with Marriott? I mean, that's pretty tough. And then not to mention money getting tighter and people pulling back and not going on vacations as much. I think there's a lot of things pointing at the fact that this might not be the safest place to be investing. Owning and operating a residential assisted living home should be cash flowing you $10,000 a month, pretty much on the lowest level. And if it's not, I want to help show you how we can get there. You see, Proverbs says, he who doesn't look ahead remains behind. And for those of you who aren't into the Bible, it's okay. Because Wayne Gretzky says, I like to skate where the puck is going, not where it has been. It's all about looking ahead, seeing this as a mega crisis, which it will be in many people's lives, or your biggest opportunity, the opportunity of your lifetime. You know, millionaires are made in recessions. And I want to make sure that as this great divide starts coming, people are going to get poorer and people are going to get richer over the next couple of years. Increasingly so. I want to make sure that you get to choose what side you fall on, that you don't just fall into it, you choose. That's the big difference. Remember how I said my grandmother, one option for her was in-home care. Well, for those of you who don't know, in-home care, the national average right now, according to genworth.com, is $27 an hour. So if you need 24/7 care at $27 an hour, 24 times 27 times 30 days in a month, that's $19,000 a month. Most families cannot afford that, because that's plus the mortgage, plus the lease, plus the food and activities and everything else. So really, it's probably more like 20 or 25, right? Depending on your market. That's extremely expensive. So I know what you might be thinking. Well, I don't need 24/7 care. I'll take nights and weekends. I just need someone to watch my mom or dad while I'm at work. And some people do that. That still is going to run you about $4 or $5 grand a month, plus. And now you just gave up your nights and weekends. You just gave up going to Johnny's soccer game or the PTO meeting or the book club, wine club, church, coming to dollar group. I mean, no, say goodbye, because when a senior needs 24/7 care, this isn't Hey, Grandma Joe, jump in the car. We're going to the ballet practice. No, it's painful for them to get up and move. It's painful for them to be jumping around in the car and going here and there and getting up and getting down. It's not how it works towards the end of life. Assisted living nationally, the average to live in those homes, $4,500 a month. But what is a residential assisted living home? You guys already know it's just a group home for seniors that provides assistance with the residents' activities of daily living. It's not a Brookdale, it's not a Sunrise and Atrium. Long hallways, impersonal staff where your senior, your loved one is just a number. And it's also not Golden Girls, right? For mature women living in a home who need minor help with landscaping, changing a light bulb, this is more independent living. Residential assisted living, you guys already know this. It's typically single family homes in regular residential neighborhoods, usually larger lots, larger homes. I know many of you in Colorado, you own homes that have 12 residents, 14 residents, 16 residents. Some of you as low as 6 or 8, but many of you have quite large properties and they're in beautiful neighborhoods, typically single level, but you can have multi-level. You add in the chairlift, you add in the elevator, you can make it happen. You know, inside the home, smooth, clean floors, you know, open settings, right? You want to make sure that the furniture is age appropriate. You want to make sure there's a lot of sitting space and it's a comfortable home. Inside the bedrooms, beds, dressers, nightstands, lamps, we know this, just like in your bedroom or my bedroom, it looks pretty similar. In the bathrooms, that's where we get senior safety coming in with the ramps and guardrails and handrails, making sure that the seniors are as safe as possible. And inside the home, an experience like you'll never see in a big box facility. The caregivers sitting with the residents, enjoying the meal. This caregiver knows all of them by name, knows their birthdays, their late husbands and wives' names, knows their family members' names, where they grew up, because they have the time. When it's a 5-to-1 or a 4-to-1 resident to caregiver ratio, they're able to invest in the seniors in the way that we all, you know, deserve to be invested in those final years of life. And in our homes, you know, we celebrate everything big and small, from Easter to St. Patrick's Day, Mardi Gras to birthdays. I love that opportunity. Our company motto is to do good and do well because, like I said before, and I'll say it a million times over, making money is cool, but making an impact is way cooler. Providing the top care for seniors who are in need is the best thing that you could ever do. But what do you really want? Do you want to feel good about your investments? Do you want to be proud of the work that you do? Do you want to have enough income to live the life you've dreamed of, to not have to settle, stop working overtime for not enough pay? Or maybe it is about appreciating assets, leaving a legacy for your family, growing true wealth. You see, the facts and statistics are there's 76 million baby boomers, 10,000 people a day turning 65, 4,000 people a day turning 85. You know, 90% of seniors, they want to stay in their own home. But unfortunately, 70% will need daily care for an average of 3.5 years. My crystal ball says they're going to need home and assistance. I'm not the only one who thinks it. Harry S. Dent of the New York Times bestselling author of The Demographic Cliff said the opportunity of our lifetimes in real estate development and investing is likely to be in nursing homes and assisted living facilities. I want you to hear from him at our national convention just a couple years back.
Yeah, so what Jane's in charge of is this organization called Residential Assisted Living. In your opinion, is that the best real estate play to be in?
It is, because I always tell people, because the baby boom was so large, everything they do as they age is the best sector. People say millennials, there's more millennials. Bull. They're not as big a wave. They're a fraction of the wave. So what assisted living and nursing homes do, they play the last stage of the baby boomers, the largest generation in history, and nobody sees it coming. Nobody. Oh, we do. You do. Nobody sees. I bring this up and people say, Harry, what are you smoking? There's the baby boomers already retired. They're already in assisted living. No, they're just starting. Yeah. In 2018. Oh, yeah. They got 26, 28 years of nonstop growth. Yeah. Nothing will grow faster and nobody will see it coming.
Pretty cool to see them all sitting around talking about that there. We've got Harry S. Dent, Robert Kiyosaki, who you may recognize from the Rich Dad, Poor Dad books, my father, the late Gene Guerino, and then Jonathan Goldsmith, the world's most interesting man from those Dos Equis commercials back in the day, as well as Brad Upton from Comedy Central. This is at our national convention where we always do like a cigars and stars type event, and we hang out, and now we smoke cigars in honor of Gene. But I hope to see you at the national convention at the Cigars and Stars or at any of the events there. Now, there are a lot of misconceptions and myths about this industry, and I do want to address some of these. Do you have to work in the home? You don't. I don't, and many of our students do not work in their homes. It's all about how you set up the business. If you set it up that you're going to work in it, well, then you're going to work in it, but you don't have to. And if you follow the steps that we show you on how to run it more hands-off, you'll be able to do that. The liability, will it be through the roof? Probably not. We hook you up with liability insurance companies, and it's $1 or $2 per day per resident. It's truly a line item. So we've got you covered there. Did all the seniors die from COVID? No. And we know that's silly, and we know the baby boomers are coming, but haters on social media will not stop with that one. You can't find good employees. Oof, this one's tough for me because over the last 2 years, what they called the Great Resignation, when surveyed, 70% of people who left their jobs said that they didn't leave for more money. They left because they didn't feel appreciated. Ouch. If we're meant to be spending most of our lives at work and you don't feel respected, loved, appreciated when you walk in that door, why would you want to stay there? Can we empathize? Can we sympathize with them a little bit? Oh, yeah. To me, it's not about finding better employees. It's about being a better employer, about providing an opportunity where someone walks in your door and they know that they're loved, they know that they're respected, they know that they're cared for and cared about, and you're treating them kindly and fairly, paying them fair wages. To me, those things matter a whole lot. And when you come to our training and you implement those methods, and maybe you become like our student Deidre, who's out in Connecticut, who's had her home open for 2 years and she hasn't had one employee leave her in those 2 years. To me, that's proof in the pudding. Do you need medical experience? Nope. But if you are a doctor or nurse, that is a feather in your cap. And I want you to market your home that way, a doctor-owned home, a nurse-owned home. But you're not the licensed administrator or the caregivers. You do not need medical experience. An HOA won't let me do this. The Pinkowski Law Team's there for you to help work through any HOA, angry city, neighbor. Being a member of the RAL National Association is there to help you walk through these guidelines. But at the end of the day, if there's a neighborhood with an HOA and one right next door without, we're going to probably go to the one without, right? Because it's not that they can't let you do it, but it's why would you cause yourself the time, the drama, the stress, the money? Brian will tell you all sorts of horror stories to help you choose the non-HOA neighborhood there. Seniors can't afford this. Just not true. If you're located properly and you're following the steps we are, and I'll show you how seniors are paying for this, it should be a non-issue for you there. So at the end of the day, it's just a single family home that's cash flowing more than all of the other single family investment opportunities. But how can you participate in RAL right now today? What are the 3 smartest options for you? Well, first, you could do like Vern does, own the real estate and lease it to an operator. This is one of the most genius companies I've ever seen someone come up with, one of our students come up with, and I'm so excited for Vern and A Better Way, ABF, ABW, very, very great companies. We call this being a preferred real estate provider. You own the real estate, maybe you've renovated the real estate, maybe you've gotten it licensed and you're going to lease it to someone who's going to operate the business within the home. You could be getting up to twice the fair market rent. They would be a long-term low impact tenant because they're probably signing a 3-year, 5-year, I've even seen 8 and 10-year leases on these properties. And little or no maintenance. You might not be in charge of the maintenance at all as the landlord, as the person owning the home. The second way to get involved is own the real estate and operate the business. This is what we do and what many of our students do. And in a moment, when I go through the numbers, this will be the category I'm referring to. This is how you can make the most and you control the business. The third way to get involved is being a private lender or a JV partner. Some of you on this phone call, you've got deep pockets and you don't want to own the real estate or the business. You literally just want to invest in someone who's going to do this. So partnering with people, meeting them at groups just like this or at our national convention is a fantastic way to make those partnerships that hopefully last you a lifetime. So how much money can you make? Well, How much does assisted living cost? You guys are from all over tonight, so I don't want to just focus on Colorado, but I will do a little shout out for you guys. But if you don't know how much assisted living costs in your area, what the average is in your area, go to this website, genworth.com/cost of care. You take a little photo of it on your phone or write it down, genworth.com/cost of care. I already shared with you that the national average is $4,500 a month, but some of you are saying, I live in Colorado, live where you want, invest where makes sense. I'll invest anywhere. So what states have the highest assisted living rates? DC, it's not a state, but they're printing money over there. They're at the tippy top average rates of $6,978. Alaska next, then Rhode Island, Massachusetts, New Jersey, New Hampshire, Washington, Delaware, Maine, Hawaii, and Connecticut rounding out the top 10 at $51.29. And there are differences within those states. So Colorado, let's break it down. Boulder is your most expensive city, according to genworth.com, with average rates of $6,275. Denver, right thereafter, $5,500. Then you've got Colorado Springs. I would assume you pronounce it Greeley. If I said it wrong, I'm sorry. You can tell me in the chat. Grand Junction, Fort Collins, and then Pueblo at the bottom, $3,800. Your state average is $4,750. So you're pretty much right on track with the national average being $4,500 a month. It's really right in alignment there. But if you had one residential assisted living home bringing you in an additional $10,000 a month, wouldn't you be more confident and secure knowing you could pay your bills easily and stay in control financially? Would you be more comfortable knowing that you could provide a home for your own loved one if and when they need assistance? Would you be more fulfilled knowing you're making a difference and leaving your mark on this world? I sure am. Check, check, check. And for me, it's all about doing things that fit in my vision and my core values. And if this is ringing a bell for you, you've got to take action and move forward. So let's go through some easy math. How can one RAL home set you free? The national average, you guys, $4,750. The national average, $4,500. So we'll use $4,500. Now, in most cities, states, counties, the amount of residents you're allowed to have in the home range somewhere between 6 and 16. So in Colorado, it's seeming like every place is a little bit different because I've heard of all sorts of homes with all sorts of amounts of residents allowed. So we'll go with 10 for easy math. It's right in between 6 and 16. So we'll use that. That means we're bringing in $45,000 of monthly gross income. But of course, there's some overhead, some expenses. In our training, we go through each of these categories and I kind of give you a top and bottom line of where you should be falling. But for the purpose of today, I want us to focus on the two numbers at bottom, 20,000 and 30,000. 20,000 is if you plan to be the candlestick maker, the cook, and the baker. You're going to live in the home, work in the home, take care of the residents yourself, right? You're going to be that go-to person and you're not going to hire out staff to do that for you. That's not what we do. And that's not what I advise that you do. The 30,000 is where you have enough to be able to pay the licensed administrator and the caregivers to run all of that day-to-day operations for you. So you can sit in the owner's box and focus on things that owners need to be focusing on, marketing and relations and scaling the business, right? So let's use our $30,000 number. Back to our example, 45,000 minus 30,000 and then debt service. You know, in most parts of the country, and trust and believe, I know that Colorado, specifically Denver, has been going crazy over the last couple of years, but most parts of the country, you can still get a pretty nice home and still in Colorado for about $5,000 a month. That's leaving you with $10,000 of monthly net income and $120,000 of annual net income. Pretty good on one average home. In our training, I don't encourage you to do average homes. I encourage you to do above average homes, nicer homes. So let's see what that might look like. Maybe we charge $5,700 times those same 10 residents, bringing in $57,000 a month. Overhead stays the same because it's just a nicer home. We're not changing anything about the business. We didn't add more residents. It's the physical property that's maybe in a better part of town. Maybe it's more bedrooms and bathrooms. Maybe it's, it's got a big, huge yard. I don't know. You tell me. But the debt service, we're going to hike it up to $7,000 a month. That's leaving us with $20,000 of monthly net income and $240,000 of annual net income. You know, our students, Scott and Michelle, out in Metairie, Louisiana, right outside of New Orleans, this is their numbers. Pretty incredible. In Louisiana, your market is a whole lot better than a Louisiana market. So trust and believe that this can happen for you too. Now, many of you want to focus on luxury homes and you want to go as big as you can, right? So maybe you want to have 15 or 16 beds, and I'm all for that. So let's say we did a luxury 15-bed home charging $7,000 a month times our 15 residents, bringing in $105,000 a monthly gross income. Now, in this example, we are going to increase our overhead, almost double it, bringing it up to $50,000 a month because we have 5 more residents, as well as the fact that this is a luxury home. So we're not feeding them rice and beans and chicken and tilapia. They're getting steak and lobster and cheesecake, whatever they want. We can afford to give it to them because there's so much more monthly gross coming in. You can be oftentimes much more flexible in that overhead. Debt service, we're also going to double it, bringing it up to $15,000 a month. That leaves us with $40,000 of monthly net income or $480,000 of annual net income. That's game-changing money. How would you be spending it? Would you go on more vacations with your kids? Would you quit your job? Would you donate to something that you care about a lot? Whatever that is, that's whatever's coming to mind right now. That should be your why. That should be your reason to push for this. In our training, we don't just show you how to do one of these homes. We actually encourage you to do a 3-pack, because if you're going to do this, then I want you to do it. And if you're going to do it, I want you to be able to share your resources, share your administrator or your caregivers, right? Share if, one of your homes is full, where are you going to send leads? Not to a competitor, to one of your other homes, right? So having at least 3 of these homes, and many of our students have come to our training, learned these concepts and blown us out of the water. I know Mitch and Jen, who are there in Colorado with you guys, I think they said they're on their 25th or 26th home. That's insane. I'm so, so proud of them. So let's get into the 5 keys to success before we wrap up tonight. I'm going to go through location, your team, clients, getting paid, and systems pretty quick here. Location. So when we think about your market, right, I need you to think about density, demand, and demographics. This is not over the river and through the woods to grandmother's house we go. No, you need to make sure that you are in a densely populated area, that the demand is there. Doing an internal feasibility study to determine how many beds are already there, how many are full, and how many is there a need for is going to really tell you the story of the area. Remember, I talked about how I want you to stay in that above average, that sweet spot. Well, we call that being a level 4 or a level 5. What that means is this: the national average, and pretty close to the Colorado average, that $4,500 a month. If that's our average, when you're charging below that, that is a below average home. I want you to avoid doing a below average home. Do not do a below average home, because there's not going to be enough money coming in for you to run the business properly. I want you to stay in the sweet spot, the level 3, the level 4. So a bit above average. Now, I know level 5 looks pretty sweet. Ooh, 8 to 10,000 per resident per month. Oh yeah, sign me up. But look at the shape of the chart. It gets smaller at the top. Your opportunity zone shrinks, because if someone can afford that, might they also be able to afford in-home care? Yeah. So I want you to stay in that sweet spot where there's still a lot of clientele to be served. Donald and Talinda Kelly, some of our students out in Kansas City, they started with a free webinar, and then they came to our 3-day training, our conventions, and now they have a gorgeous 12-bed home out in Kansas City, and I'm so excited for them. The second thing is your team. You are not it. You've got to build your team, repeat it, and scale. Many of you are solopreneurs or entrepreneurs, and you cannot go at this alone. You have to build your team if you ever want to scale, if you want to be hands-off, if you want to be passive, which I know many of you do. This is my manager, Mariella, and she runs all 3 of my homes. I have 1 phone call with her per week, and I visit the homes maybe every other month. I'm extremely passive in this because my team, they've got it. They've got it handled. I've trained them and they know what to do. And they call me if they need me in an emergency, but I'm not running over there at the drop of the hat. Mariella's handling it all. And that is the way I want you to be able to run your business. Like Jana and Tommy out there in Texas, they've got a couple properties now and they're absolutely beautiful. They use our profitability calculator tool to plug in and see the numbers and see if it's going to work whenever they're about to invest in a new property. And you too might want to use a tool like that very soon. Number 3 is your clients, okay? The resident is not your client, and the fill it fast marketing formula. So who is your client? If it's not the resident, it's daughter Judy, it's son Bob, it's the family members who come with the senior. This is who you are target marketing. This is who you want to make sure you're communicating with. This is who's typically touring the home, choosing the home, paying for the home, oftentimes complaining about the home and or praising you for the wonderful things happening within the home. So we want to make sure that we're targeting her. So that 50 to 70-year-old who's upper middle class, who's a homeowner, that's who we want to come into the home to tour, to choose it for their loved one. Ogita and her family, they opened 4 homes since they took our online home study course. And she ran up to my dad at the national convention and she was like, Jean, thank you, thank you, thank you. And it was so fun to be able to meet her there. And I hope to meet many of you at the convention as well. Step number 4 is getting paid. Do not focus on Medicaid, focus on private pay residents and maximize your LTC insurance. So how do seniors afford assisted living? Well, some pay through Medicare, some are subsidized by the VA, some use LTC, long-term care insurance, some use their saved up cash, their IRAs, their investments, or they sell their own home and use that capital to pay for their assisted living needs. And of course, last but not least, the category of people who say, I'm going to let my kids figure it out. You see, it's kind of like that phrase in fitness or nutrition, failing to prepare means preparing to fail. I don't want you or your loved ones to fall in that category. And it's sad when you often see the stress and the guilt that daughter Judy has because her parent left her in this situation. You've now been exposed to this industry. You're now in an incredible group that is not going to allow you to fail your future children. And it's not going to allow your parents to fail you. You're going to change your family's destiny. And I'm excited for that. Walt, he didn't trust that his kids were going to put him in the best of the best. So he built himself the best of the best. A 10-bedroom, 10-bath, gorgeous custom home in Arizona. And, he was running the business for a couple of years. And towards the end of his life, he moved right in and he was living for free and still cash flowing. He was in the business for 15 years when he came to our 3-day training. And we thought he's a legend. He's going to teach us stuff when he comes. But when he came, he actually said, I was leaving over $15,000 a month on the table, over $2 million in those 15 years. I was sick to my stomach, but grateful to find out too. Many of you are in this industry right now, and the numbers I just showed, you might be like, what? How could I even possibly get there? There's no way. Well, there might be some tips and tricks that you're missing. And maybe you want to sign up to learn more or chat with our team member to see how we can help you 10x your business, how we can help you get out of the day-to-day and really learn how to market it and sit in that owner's box. At the end of the day, it comes down to systems, saving yourself time, energy, and money. You see, if you're type A personality like me, you've got to have the systems in place. When it comes to team building, how to identify, train, and retain the best of the best staff so that you can be that passive hands-off owner. This cannot be understated. It's not that no one's doing the work. Someone is, it's just not you. The real estate, Vern is the best connection that you could have for this. Renee, they've got your back. When it comes to location, acquisition, and renovation, you couldn't be working with someone more capable in our entire country than them. So I know you guys are in good hands. When it comes to funding, some of you might be thinking, I don't have my own capital. How might I get started in this? Well, good thing we're showing you the 7 ways to fund your RAL using OPM, other people's money. You do not have to go at this alone. You do not have to use your own capital. Partners. Many of you, even some of you on this call, are partnering with people you've met at the convention or at our 3-day training. Some of you are partnering with our staff members, and I'm happy to see you here. Partnering is a big part of this industry, whether it be partnering on the real estate side of it, the business side of it, however you want to go about that. I want to make sure that you're protected and they're protected. So working with us to determine who's in charge of what and what that looks like contractually is very important. And then the operations side of this, think of this as the documents, the policies and procedures, the emergency plans, the menus and schedules, all those things that you have to submit to the state to make sure that you can be licensed and you're approved to move forward, getting those systematized so you can scale. Now, I want to thank you guys so much for letting me be a part of this incredible group. You guys are here to change the face of the industry. It's so in alignment with everything that we do at Residential Assisted Living Academy. And I just want to thank you guys for being committed to providing more for our seniors. I hope you learned something here tonight. And I just want to thank you for spending your time with me. And I want to show you how to get some free resources from Residential Assisted Living Academy to jumpstart your success. So at this website, RAL101.com, when you go there, and I'll try to drop it in the chat as this is playing here. Whoop, let me put it here, RAL101.com. When you go there, it's a website just like this. You can download free books. You can schedule a free consultation call. That's what Walt needed. You know, he had that call and he got started on his way. You know, you can watch free webinars. Really, there's a whole bunch of stuff there that's just totally free and available to you. Nothing for sale on RAL101.com. It's just there for you to utilize, you know, whatever you want. That profitability calculator that Tommy and Jana were using, you know, the consultation calls, whatever you want, RAL101.com. But for those of you who want a little more, for those of you who want to move this Zoom to in person and come see Vern and Brian and myself and so many others who are going to be there, the RAL National Convention is the opportunity. It is coming up and I'm so excited to be here because it couldn't be better timing. It's right around the corner, September 29th through October 2nd at the Arizona Grand Resort. We invite celebrity guests and trainers. There's educational topics on all things RAL. You're going to be meeting new friends and networking with others in the industry, over 70 vendors, over 30 speakers, over 600 other attendees. Not to mention, this place has got a water slide and a lazy river. So if you've got kids, bring them because the resort is super fun and cool. And as soon as the event's over, me and my team, we're like, woo, going down the water slide. So come with us, bring the kids, have fun. September 29th through October 2nd, Arizona Grand Resort and Spa in Phoenix. You know, this event is my absolute favorite event of the year because of our award ceremony. Every year we welcome up on stage everyone who opened a care home that year, and we celebrate them and we give them that award. Not to mention we do a whole banquet gala dinner and a game show night, and there's sometimes comedians or magicians, and then the cigars and stars, of course. It's just a can't miss event. And the website for that, RALNATCON.com. But I was chatting with Renee and I was like, I want to give everybody just the best deal I possibly can. So when you use promo code Denver, it will take the price, which is typically $14.95 right now, because we're still in kind of that early bird zone. It's $8.95. But when you use that promo code Denver, all caps DENVER, to represent that you were here with me tonight, it knocks the price down $100, bringing it to just $7.95 at RALNATCON.com. And I'll put that one in the chat as well, so you guys have that there. Promo code Denver. So I hope you guys had a lot of fun. I know I had a lot of fun. I just want to thank you for spending your time with me, your evening with me. I hope you learned something. And yeah, thank you so much, Renee and Vern, for just having me be here. I really appreciate it.
Thank you so much. That was fantastic. I understand. I mean, I already kind of knew, but this is our first time on a Zoom together. So now I get all your accolades even more. You are just as dynamic via Zoom as you are on stage. So thank you so much for sharing all this awesomeness. I have taken a ton of notes, which I'm going to reinforce in our newsletter for those who missed it and those catching the recording. So wanted to open it up for Q&A. Thank you so much for holding your questions until the end here, but please fire away and we will stay on as long as you have questions. Well, not too long, but not until 10.
Yeah, Janet.
Hi, Isabel. Thanks. That was a great presentation. I'm in big favor of group homes. I think it's wonderful. I'm confused how you can get payment though from Medicare, because I was under the assumption that Medicare only pays for medical care, not for assisted living facilities.
We have not had any issue with them paying for care within the homes. So
they'll pay for PT and OT here in Colorado. They'll pay for some services like that, but they will not pay your room and board here in Colorado.
Okay, so maybe it's that it's being supplemented that with what the family's paying for room and board, and that might be paying for care. Is that
No,
what-
they'll only pay, like in Colorado, you can only get things that are medical care covered, like PT and OT. You can't get any part of room and board covered through Medicare. None of it is paid through Medicare because Medicare is a federally funded program that pays for medical care.
well, maybe there's something different going on in Colorado.
Yeah, yeah,
Have to
maybe in different
research
states.
into
I
it.
don't know, but maybe you might want to clarify that. Yeah.
Isabel, we get Medicaid here,
Okay, yeah,
but not Medicare.
okay, I'll have to research. Thank you.
I know in some states that we've talked to, they don't have Medicaid, they have
But they
Medicare instead, and so it just depends on the state, so.
I think so.
If you just go ahead and unmute yourself and chime on in if you have a question.
Okay, so I have a question. Is there only one national convention a year? The
Yes,
reason I asked is because we just booked flights to go to the Philippines during that same time.
oh, yes, it's an annual event, so that one's only once a year. Yeah. Dang, well, next year is gonna be earlier September, so I'll give you those dates as soon as we release them.
So you still do webinars through the year though?
We do educational or sales webinars, just kind of similar to, what I chatted with you here about. And we do educational events, 3-day trainings in Phoenix, Arizona. Those are a bit more expensive, and that's kind of the hardcore education, showing you step by step how to own and operate the home. The convention, it's kind of like a party, right? Everyone's there, everyone's hanging out, and food and networking and lots of vendors and a bunch of speakers. So they're a bit different, but those 3-day training events do happen every 6 to 8 weeks. And those are in Phoenix as well.
And we do this meeting monthly. So although we're not doing it in September because we're going to be at the conference, but feel free to chime in and we'll make sure you're on the list for notifications.
What kind of license do you need to get started?
So the physical home has a license on it, right? Based on the requirements, the stipulations that are required in your county or city or state, right? So the physical home, you get that license through the state. The licensed administrator is someone you're hiring. They already have their license. So you're just hiring that person. And then the caregivers as well, they're already licensed through the state. So the physical home license is based on square footage, egress, things of that nature. I know that Colorado has some pretty strict standards, and there's some excellent people in this group who have been through all the hoops, all the fire, and this is the best group you can be in to really narrow in if you are in this area for sure. Oh, you're muted if you are chatting.
As a business owner, you don't really need a state license to be owning the RAL.
You as a person do not have a license unless you are going to work in the home as the licensed administrator, because you're not hands-on with the residents, right? So
Yeah.
your name and your business name might be on the license for the home, right? But you're not going to be direct care of the residents unless that's what you want to do. And then you would need to get your administrator's license, or sometimes it's called different things in different states, but administrator's license, more or less.
Okay. And the licensing with the state is just like if they are ADA compliant, or if they are good enough to be a home for a senior living, right?
Brian's raising his hand. I'll let him answer this one.
Yeah, so the licensing scenarios that Isabel is describing can vary from state to state quite a lot. So just owning the real estate, you don't have to have a license. In most places, if you own the operations business, or you're one of the owners with typically more than 5 or 10% ownership, then they'll want your name included as part of the background check that they do when they issue a license to the company that does the operations. In Colorado, we don't have to have administrators that are licensed, but they have to have a specific kind of a training program. And again, that varies from state to state. So it might be difficult for Isabel to answer your specific question unless you tell us a little bit more about what state, and then me or Isabel or a number of other people can answer it. Where are you talking about?
I'm in California. If you guys know anything.
Yeah, we do. We know that 6-bed places are quite popular in California, as well as the business is going to have to be licensed. And I don't know offhand what the administrative requirements are for California right now, but
I don't know.
Brian, I looked up California and I think 6-bed homes roll up under adult protective services. I don't think they roll up under the health department out there is what I found. But
well,
that
there's
may be wrong.
they call it a residential care facility for the
Yeah.
elderly, RCFE out there. So, if you want to talk some more about what those are, what those specific requirements are for California, there's a lot of good resources out there, including one of the Residential Assisted Living National Association charter members, which is, I think it's called the
William Young.
RCFE.
Yeah.
Exactly. So we can put you in contact with them so you can get that information. Or of course, you're always welcome to talk to me.
Oh yeah, that's great. If you guys can leave a comment on the chat box.
Yeah, my contact information is there.
Okay, thank you.
And Vern, not Vern, but Renee will tell you how to copy all that information from the chat.
Yes, sorry, I didn't do that right from the beginning. So let's go ahead and take just a little pause on questions right now. Go ahead and drop your first, last name, any contact details, cell phone, email, whatever, right in the chat. And then before you leave, you can click the little in the chat box. You can click the 3 little dots that say more, possibly, depending on what you're viewing this on, and you can click Save Chat. And when this ends, it will give you a text version of the chat.
That's cool. Technology.
I'm also going to pop in the genworth.com cost of care link.
Yes.
So it says it's coming from Bern, but it's really me, which is kind of the same, I guess, right now.
I know there was a question in the chat earlier, and I think this person logged off. But they said, is the Colorado rate you provided private pay? And that those rates are not private pay. Those are the average rates. So that's including everything, right? The highs and the lows. That's the average rates posted there with Genworth. I don't think they separate it from private to regular.
You know what? They were pretty close. I've been working in Colorado for about 14 years. The prices you put on there, especially those 2, not the high tier, but the second 2 tiers, they were pretty close.
Yeah.
So Isabel, I'm just going to ask this since nobody else has yet, but the 3-day academy, who is the 3-day academy designed for, and why would somebody want to be involved in that if they haven't started their business yet, or if they have?
Yeah. So for the people who haven't started their business yet, it's really kind of that blueprint. It's 3 full days of education on how to find the home, what you're looking for, what you're avoiding, how to fund the home. So using, money and raising capital for that, what your business plan is going to look like, all things in that nature. And then how to fill the home when it comes to marketing, getting your residents, getting your caregivers, getting your licensed admin. We do a memory care section. We do a staffing section, a touring section. We have a syndication guide there, a wealth asset protection, whole program. It's really, really intensive. And then we do home tours. So we take you and drive by our 3 homes, as well as about 6-ish other of our students' homes right in like one little area there. And then we go back in the classroom and we do home tours inside of our homes and other homes across the country, as well as obviously the networking there. Everyone who works on the staff there, they're past students who were in the class, just like you, maybe, and they came through, they opened their own home, and now they're back teaching and training on that. So I really love that, because you're getting to network with successful people from all across the country who are in this industry and ask them all those little nitty-gritty questions. So for someone who's looking to get in, it's a great place to kind of really learn everything you need to be successful from there.
And where can they go check that out?
That's at ralacademy.com. And those are the ones that happen every 6 to 8 weeks. They're in Phoenix, Arizona, always at the Hilton Phoenix Airport Hotel. When you get registered for that, they send you all the hotel room block info and all that good stuff. But it's right near the airport, and there's a free shuttle that takes you back and forth. So
RALacademy.com.
You
Yeah,
got
I
it.
just stuck it in the chat.
I will
But-
tell
and-
you all
And-
that Michelle and I, and now Jen Wasserman, our additional attorney, we represent several hundred assisted living places around the country, and all of our strongest clients come through the academy. They get that basic business understanding of what this is all about, so that when they then go forward to start learning about how the care and the regulations fit, they know how to evaluate what makes sense and what doesn't.
We
And when
need to
we-
do one of those in Denver, and Renee, I'm retired Air Force also, so.
Awesome, thank you. You know, one of the things that we ask when we're pre-screening somebody that's interested in getting involved in this business, if they're new to it, if they don't have it, well, that's one of the questions is, do you have experience? What kind of experience do you have and what kind of education? And if we haven't heard RAL Academy, we're gonna we always recommend they go to you first.
I have a question, Isabel. Do you guys include any type of marketing plan for the homes? Because I see some homes fail because they don't market the home right. They don't have placement service agreements. And then once you start getting down on residents, you start having cash flow problems, you know?
Yes.
Yeah.
Marketing is key. We do a major section on marketing in the training. And before you come to the training, we give you like videos. I always say to like prep you, prime you, so that when you come to class, you're ready to soak in all that information. During class, you get a big binder that you take home with all the information that we've been giving out there throughout the weekend. And then after class, we send you home with a bunch of different documents and videos to kind of get you started. But marketing is absolutely covered,
Yeah.
because you are
Yeah.
100% correct. And we were talking about that in our breakout room earlier with one of the care homeowners who's on tonight. And she was saying that, she was saying, marketing is so hard for me. I don't know what to do. And, you know, even just starting with that top 10 list and then being connected with people who, I know there was a gentleman on tonight who is your sponsor for this group, you know, assisted living marketing. And
Peter, yeah.
I don't know all of the services there that he offers, but I'm sure a lot of it is in alignment with what we're promoting, that you've just got to do it. Because if you don't, you know, this business is a three-legged stool. It's about the resident, it's about the senior, but it's also about the business. If you're not making money, you're not going to be able to support the caregivers or the seniors. You have to make money to be able to run a business. So you have to make sure that that is working, and marketing is really what's going to drive, you know, all of that business and attention to make it flow and make it work. So
Yeah.
great
And
question.
marketing is not a hit and miss. You don't do it
No.
just when you're low on residents. That
Never
doesn't how
stop.
it works. Yeah.
Never stop. That's right. Awesome.
Any other questions?
I had a question. I'm looking on starting from like absolute zero. I'm 22 years old. I don't know the first step. Where should I go?
Well, first, thank you for coming to this group, because this group is an amazing group. Are you in Colorado?
No, I'm in North Carolina.
Oh, awesome. So I'm glad that you're here. This is great. I would say staying connected to groups like this, either coming out to the national convention or to our 3-day training, but start at that RAL 101. Go grab a free book, go grab a, a phone call. But I will tell you this, do not, fret because you are young. One of our most successful students, his name is Josh, and he started when he was 22 years old. He didn't go to college. He was in construction and he had no money. He had no idea what he was doing. And now he's owned and operated his home for over 3 years. And I'm going to see his home tomorrow. I visit him every so often because it's beautiful and he's cash flowing, and this completely changed his life. He's out on his boat like every day. He's, hanging out, but this is a game changer. And you getting in so young, I'm sure a lot of people who are older wish that they knew or heard about this opportunity when they were younger. So don't sleep on that. Make it happen. You can do it. And we're here for you. Start free or get registered for the class, whatever's the right next step for you, but we're here to assist you along the way.
Okay, because I've been kind of afraid because I don't know where to get the funding, or I've been planning on getting funding from Renee. You do the funding, right?
Yeah, so you're going to want to check out dollar.com, DAALR.com. And it's not just for Denver. We're going to be expanding that in marketing soon, but I'm putting this in the chat. Stay involved in that. Of course, the 3-day academy, ralacademy.com. But stay engaged with us because we're going to keep you connected to the right people. We've got lots of people in North Carolina that are joining, so it's a good spot.
Okay, thank you.
Anyone
Awesome.
else?
Well, I really hope to see you guys at the national convention. Brian's going to be there. Vern and Renee and I going to be there. I know the other Brian who's on in the background, he hasn't showed his camera, but I know Brian Mann's going to be there. So all your new friends, and I hope to see some of you and make new friends with you there as well.
Isabel, this is Brian, man. Can you hear me?
I can hear
Yes.
you.
Okay, I just want to say you did a great job tonight. Your father taught you very well. You're so spot on with everything you did.
Oh,
Great,
thank you.
great job.
Good to
Great job.
hear from you, and I'll see you very soon.
I'll see you in a month.
I would second that as well, Isabel. It's good to see you and look forward to seeing you at the end of the month.
Thank you, Vern. I'll be praying you heal quickly.
Thank you.
And I just want to give a little quick shout out. Valerie, Lucas Green, I just want to say hello. I can't see your face, but I wanted to say hello. She might have to be muted, but
All right. Good night. Nice seeing you, Isabel. We'll talk, I'm sure, over the next few weeks. Bye-bye.
Sounds
Thanks,
good.
Awesome.
Isabel. Thanks,
Thank-
Isabel. I'm gonna pass all of the stuff on to Angela, the real Angela, not me, Angela. And I'm sure that she's been trying to look into this she's been here for 12 years. And so she's been trying to do this. She's an administrator. She's doing healthcare as we speak, live-in healthcare, and she's tired of it. She's not making what she wants to make. And so the best way to do that is to own your own. And this is what I've been telling her. So this right here is possibly the answer to bringing her home, because I don't get to see her for 4 days out of the week.
Yeah. No, let's bring her home. Bring
And
her
we
home.
we just had our 13th anniversary and she forgot. Anyway, don't tell her that. Don't tell her.
This is recorded.
Delete that part. Delete that part. Thanks, y'all. Renee,
Thank you.
you're
Nice to
awesome.
meet you.
Everybody else, thanks for talking. Ernest, good talking to you. Isabel, I've got to go.
See you soon. Bye-bye. Hi, Terrence. I recognize you. Good to see you. And I think somebody wrote in the chat, and I'll answer that question as well. They wrote best states to invest in RAL. Well, I did share that slide that said the top 10 most expensive states, but just because one's expensive doesn't mean it's the best. You know, I will say every state comes with its pros and cons. Like one of our students, Mandy, out in Rhode Island, she was the first care home to exist in Rhode Island. So she had to jump through a whole lot of hoops to get that home up and running. But now the state is begging her to open more versus, you know, me in Arizona, we have 3,000 care homes in one county out here. So my competition is steep, but it's pretty easy to get a home up and running here because their rules are really clearly laid out. It's happening all over. People are doing it all the time. So there's pros and cons, you know, having a lot of competition, having no competition, reinventing the wheel, or following a really easy, you know, recipe. So it's really up to you. I always like, you know, I said earlier, live where you want, invest where it makes sense, but invest somewhere that you want to go visit. Don't put it in Oklahoma if you're not planning on, you know, going there every so often to visit, because especially when you're getting the home up and running, it is going to take some time and energy, and you are going to have to spend some time there, you know, until you get to the point where you can be more passive and hands off. So pick somewhere that you want to go.
So Ral's in Maldives, what do those look like?
Actually, one of our students, you'll meet them at the convention this year. They just opened our first RL Academy student international home. I want to say it's in Brazil.
Oh,
But they just opened a home. And I know Chuck also, who's like kind of the part of the community, Chuck Bongiovanni, he is opening homes in Dominican Republic. So you have to think the baby boom didn't just happen in America, it happened everywhere. Like seniors are going to need home care and assistance everywhere. And there's a lot of expats who live in places like Panama and Belize and Dominican and Costa Rica. And I think 100% putting a home, you know, somewhere fun that you want to go visit would be a great idea.
yeah, absolutely. Very cool.
Awesome. Well, thank you guys so much. I really appreciate it.
Thank you so much.
Of course.
All right. If nobody else has questions, going once.
Thank you.
I'm gonna stay on until you all leave, so.
Thank you. Bye.
All right, I think we're good. Nobody's chiming in. So, Isabel, I appreciate all that you have done. I'm gonna go ahead and send out a recap. We're gonna send it out in our newsletter with the recording. There's a lot of people that are more towards Central and Eastern time zones that are catching these on the recording. So I'll put the code in so that they can access that and take advantage of
Fabulous.
that. So thank you
Let
for
me
that
know.
offer.
No worries. Let me know if you need anything else, and I look forward to seeing you at the convention.
Sounds good. Have
All
a good
right.
night.
Talk to you soon.
Bye.